So last night was the NBA draft, and as with every year, there are winners and losers. Today I'd like to talk about 3 winners and 3 losers, and these won't be in any particular order. I will preface this by saying I am by no means a draft expert. I don't do any deep dives unless I really like a prospect, but I think I know enough to pick out some winners and losers. First up, we'll start with the winners because why not start on a positive note? The Hornets in my mind are a winner in this year's draft. They got a potential franchise player and someone who will definitely bring attention and attendance to Charlotte in LaMelo Ball. They also didn't have to give up any assets to trade for their guy, and it seemed like they would have to do that for the longest time. They do have Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham on that roster already, so one of those two will likely have to be moved. But for LaMelo, I think you definitely do that. He's already one of the best passers in the league, probably. They also got someone who was projected to be a pretty good big at one point in Vernon Carey in the second round. They also got Nick Richards and Grant Riller for whatever that's worth. As I said, I'm no draft expert. My second winner today are the Dallas Mavericks, who seem to just have an excellent draft. They got a guy with some great offensive potential in Josh Green with the 18th pick. Josh Green will prove to be really good as a floor spacer for the Mavs, probably replacing Seth Curry, who just got traded. He's taller than Curry at 6'6" though and weighs 210 pounds. He's no slouch on defense either, and often guarded the best player on the opposing team in his time with Arizona. He's also a decent athlete, so all around it was just a really solid pick for them. They also got an absolute steal in Tyrell Terry, who they drafted with the 31st overall pick. Terry shows flashes to be an amazing offensive player, and flash skills off the dribble as well as in transition and above the rim. Just overall a developing offensive game, and he definitely has the potential to be a serious threat on offense. He's only 6'2", 160 pounds though, and I think he gained weight over the hiatus and is somewhere in the 170 to 180 range now, if I'm not mistaken, so that's huge for him. All around, I think the Mavs had a great draft and put some guys who have the potential to be pretty good around Luka, who will make their lives infinitely easier. Last up for the winners are the Detroit Pistons, and I didn't think I would be saying that going into the draft. Detroit ended up with picks 7, 16, and 19, where they took Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, and Sadiq Bey, respectively. I mean, the fact that they got 3 picks below 20 is really good for them, and it looks like they've got some solid talent to start their rebuild around. Killian Hayes has the potential to be a really good guard in the NBA, showing some James Harden-esque skills overseas with his shot creation off the dribble as well as his passing. He's not bad on defense either, and seems to have a pretty decent IQ on that end. Speaking of not bad on defense, they drafted a very versatile forward in Sadiq Bey, who has the potential to be a very valuable wing in this league. At 6'8", 216 pounds, he can guard multiple positions, mainly going between the 3 and the 4, but finding himself on his fair share of guards. He's not particularly quick laterally, but his high defensive IQ definitely helps him when it comes to the pick and roll. He also shot 45% from 3 on 175 total attempts, which is pretty promising if you ask me. So is the 76% free throw percentage. He moves the ball well and is unselfish, tough, and a competitive player who can add to any team. Then they drafted Isaiah Stewart, who I won't pretend to know anything about, but go him, I guess. I do want to have an honorable mention for the winners, the Orlando Magic. They got Cole Anthony at number 15, and I think that's really great for the Magic. They've been looking for their point guard for a while, and maybe he'll be it. I think his season at North Carolina wasn't too telling on him as a player, and I think we'll just have to see how it goes. Steve Clifford should be pretty good for him. But now we're on to a bit of negativity, so I'm sorry for fans of these teams. We'll start off with the Chicago Bulls, but I will preface this part by saying it's not bad. They drafted Patrick Williams at number 4, which is questionable. Patrick Williams has the potential to be a really great defensive player, and certainly can help a Bulls team with no high-level defenders outside of Wendell. But they also took him at number 4, and he was probably not going anywhere before like 7 or 8. They definitely could have traded down to get him, because looking at the guys the teams after them got, I don't think he was going anywhere before maybe 9 or 10. Maybe the Knicks would have taken him, I'm not sure. But Patrick Williams is definitely not a bad pick. I think he was just picked a little too high. Second on the losers list is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got the number 1 pick, and that was cool. But it was very clear their intentions were to trade it for more veteran help. The problem with that plan Nobody wanted to trade for the number 1 pick. So they ended up taking Anthony Edwards, almost seeming out of necessity. Edwards is a huge question mark, in my opinion, especially with his comments about how he'd leave basketball behind if he got drafted by the NFL, and how he doesn't really love basketball. I mean, that's an enormous red flag for me. I don't want you anywhere near my team if you aren't going to be committed to this and committed to getting better. I don't care how talented you are. Especially in Minnesota, where it's a young team and a young coaching staff, I think his discipline will be a concern as well as his will to improve. We'll just have to see with Edwards. I'll be honest, I can't really think of another loser. Sure, there were some teams with some mad drafts. There were teams who didn't even pick. So I guess those are the losers, the Clippers, the Nets. It's probably the Warriors or Klay Thompson for tearing his Achilles, which really sucks, man. They had a good draft, though. Maybe it's the Suns. I was surprised by the Jalen Smith pick, but maybe he's good. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving it a like and subscribing to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. And y'all have a good one.